Oh, sorry guys. Don't mind me. I was just playing Dead Cells on the Steam Deck here. You can also play it on the Razer Edge. You can also play it on the Razer Edge. Oh, I just thought actually that's not the Razer Edge. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Sorry guys, 1 second. Okay, you can actually also play Dead Cells on the Razer Edge as well. Wait, that's not the Razer Edge. Sorry guys. Is it this one? No. Okay. Here it is. Here is the Razer Edge. Yeah, so let's talk about it and let's get into it. Okay, guys, so let's talk about the Steam Deck versus the Razer Edge. And before we do that, the first thing we're gonna do is just talk about the Razer Edge and exactly what it is. So essentially, the Razer Edge is pretty much an Android tablet, phone, whatever you look at it. It's pretty much an Android tablet with a detachable controller. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the video, and that's all there is to it, really. But in all seriousness, let's talk about what the Razer Edge does well and what it doesn't do so well, and how we can even compare it or put it next to the Steam Deck. So first, let's just talk about what it is. Talk about the design. So like I mentioned, it's like an Android tablet with a controller attached. And that's one way to think about it. It's pretty much positioned for game streaming and Android gaming. And I will say it does have some features that makes it a very solid device. As far as the specs, the performance is close to a Snapdragon 888 Plus, so that's about like a generation and a half, a year and a half ago in terms of flagship Android devices. So it's pretty powerful. So you're going to be able to play any Android game at the full resolution and pretty good frame rate. Now for streaming, it is good because it has a very good screen. It has Wi-Fi 6. This is a full HD screen, 144 hertz. It is an OLED screen. So that's what makes this a very good device for streaming because it has the one of the best Wi-Fi protocols available today. It is very fast, so your max speeds from your Wi-Fi, you're gonna get that on this device. As far as compared it to the Steam Deck, I will say that it gets a little interesting. It gets a little kind of difficult to say which one, you should buy, considering that the price of this device is pretty much the same as the price of the base Steam Deck. So the 64 gigabyte Steam Deck is $399, and this is also $399. So you have to really consider what your use case is. So I will say that this device is good for a few things. Number one, this device is good for, as I said, streaming. Of course, it's good for streaming because it has a nice OLED screen. It has the controller, and that is always good for streaming games, to have a physical controller, and it's a physical connection, so you're not going to get any latency from Bluetooth. But another thing that makes it a good device is when you consider emulation. So this device is very good for emulation, emulating games all the way up to the PS2 and even some Nintendo Switch games. So I'm not going to go into the Switch games because Nintendo doesn't really like when you do that. But as far as emulation goes, it has a lot of powerful emulation. So you're going to be able to emulate any game that you have out there in your library as far as PS1, PSP, PS2. You can do Dreamcast, you can do GameCube, you can do all these games here. I would just bring up God of War 2 here. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm playing God of War 2, and it's gonna play at the full 60 FPS, and this is 2x resolution. You can even push the resolution a little bit higher, but you just get a sense of the power and performance on this device here. So it's a good device for emulation, and it has a nice OLED screen, so it does have that going for it. As far as the pros over the Steam Deck, I will have to say that for the price, for $400, the base Steam Deck is probably going to be the better buy. You know, if you only have $400, then you're better off just getting the Steam Deck, even though it has 64 gigabytes of storage. Throw an SD card in there, or even upgrade the internal SSD for not that much money. And you're looking at maybe around $550 to get a 1 terabyte Steam Deck, and you be set. You be good to go. You can play all your games. You can emulate everything you need to do right on here. I will say that where the Razer Edge sort of shines is if you want something that's a little bit more portable. As you can see, this device is very small, much smaller than the Steam Deck. And that's because it's pretty much just like a phone inside of a Razer Kishi. Now, portability is one thing to consider. Another thing is if you are into like emulation, then this is going to be a nice little device to emulate on. Even though the Steam Deck, of course, is more powerful, if you want just a small device to emulate on with a nice screen, then this is a good option because it has a much higher resolution. So you can push those retro games, those older emulated games, you can push them to a higher resolution and you can enjoy them on this AMOLED screen. And that's pretty much the only thing I can consider is like the portability and the OLED screen for emulation and getting a higher resolution in emulated games. Of course, if you're into Android gaming, like if you're a diehard Android gaming fan, then this could be a good option. I could see this as a companion device. You know, if you have a PC and you don't really want to mess with the Steam Deck, you can stream all your PC games to here with the OLED screen at a higher resolution. So you can stream here a 1080p up to 144 hertz. And that can be a good option. I will say that it's hard to recommend if you have a powerful phone. So as you can see, this is an iPhone. This right here is an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and you can throw a controller on there. iPhones aren't really that good for emulation because there's not many emulators on the iPhone, but there are a few. And then, I mean, if you have a strong phone like something from the last generation or before, so anything with the Snapdragon 888, or this is the S22 Ultra with an Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, anything that's, you know, from the last generation or two is going to be just as powerful, even more powerful than this. So you have a phone already, then you may want to just pick up, you know, one of these controllers, pick up the Kishi or the Backbone. You see this Backbone for Android, and Kishi also has controllers for iPhone. So if you have a powerful phone, it doesn't really make sense to get this. But if you have an older phone, or if you just want to free up your phone, you don't want to have any games like that filling up space on your phone, then the Kishi is a good option because it's a dedicated device and you don't have to worry about filling up storage on your phone or draining the battery on your phone. So just a quick recap. The Steam Deck, of course, is better than the Razer Kishi in terms of performance. The Razer Kishi is a good option if you enjoy game streaming from either a streaming service like GeForce Now or Xbox Game Pass, or if you stream from your local PC. The increased resolution and the OLED screen makes this an amazing option for streaming games. And the portability is another option that makes it a viable solution. So you can see here, we can take this off, and then this is the whole package here, and it's much smaller. As you can see, it's much smaller, and you can, you know, put that in a bag in your pocket and have an enjoyable experience on the go. So that's pretty much it. I know it's a long-winded way of saying that the Steam Deck is better, but for somebody, the Razer Edge may be a good option. And yeah, it's just like a little Android tablet. It's, I guess, one of the most powerful Android tablets of this size on the market today, if you can call it a tablet. But I guess it will be the most powerful Android tablet of this size on the market today. Whatever that means to you. Yeah, use that information how you will. If you want to see any specific tests using the Razer Edge, let me know. I'll make a video of, any specific games or emulation. But this was just to let you guys know how it sort of compares to the Steam Deck. And the answer is it doesn't really compare, but it does do some things better. That's just really emulation up until PS2 and streaming because of the high resolution screen. You can stream on the Steam Deck at 720, but if you can do twice the resolution, then that could be a good option for you. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you want to see, if it's overrated, if it's underrated, if it's worth it. Let me know all that in the comments below. Subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for some more tests.